One day, Billy and Dennis were puffing on the track. They were having a speedy time when suddenly they saw something. "Dennis," said Billy, "look!" And suddenly Dennis and Billy seen it. It was Stepney with a goods train and came off the rails with it. That became a big mess. And that has now on became a big mess. Just then, both Billy and Dennis came to investigate. But just then, both Billy and Dennis decided to investigate it. "What happened?" asked Billy. "I'll tell you now," said Stepney. This morning, I was up the boulder mountain, and then Splatter and Dodge behind me pushed me off the rails and made this goods train a big mess. Now I can't even move. Now I can't even move. Now Peter Sam will have to help me while you catch up with Splatter and Dodge." "Fine by me," said Dennis and Billy. And so Billy and Dennis came to find Splatter and Dodge. "We'll see you later," they said. "Thank you," said Stepney. Stepney was hoping that they would catch up with these evil diesels. So Billy and Dennis puffed away to find them. "How could this happen to Stepney?" said Dennis. "There is no time," said Billy. "We must find those evil diesels." "Well, I'm a diesel," said Dennis, "and I'm not that evil." "Of course you're not," said Billy. "Come on." And so Billy and Dennis came to find Splatter and Dodge. While they were searching, they didn't know what was really going on in Boko and Mavis's shed. Splatter and Dodge were hiding inside Mavis and Boko's shed, so they came out to see if it was safe. "Brilliant," they said. "Now quickly before they see us." But just then, when Boko and Mavis came back, when Boko and Mavis came back, they saw Dodge and Splatter at the yards, so they were cross with them. "Oi, Splatter and Dodge! Splatter and Dodge! I hope you're not stalking us. Said Boko. "Hope not," said Mavis. "Now, Stepney told me what you did to him." "Uh-oh," said Dodge and Splatter, and so Splatter and Dodge ran away. Suddenly, Billy and Dennis saw them, and they chased after them. "Come on!" While they were speeding after them before they could go even more faster. Just then, Billy and Dennis went the wrong way, and the wrong way was the sheds. And everyone was already in the sheds, like James, Toby, Molly, and Emily. Just then, Molly, Emily, and Toby were trying to figure out what's wrong with James. James was feeling sad. Just then, Billy and Dennis didn't know why. "What's wrong, James?" asked Dennis. "It's because of Stepney," he said. This morning Splatter and Dodge pushed him off the rails and made him damaged him, and his wheels are cracking and his side rods are broken. Because I don't know why we are doing this, but I hope we're not going to send him to the scrappy again," he said. "We're not going to make this happen to him the same way it did while he was in his old railway," said Billy. "Hope not," said Toby, Molly, and Emily, "because Stepney's our friend after all." "I know he is," said Dennis. Besides, Billy, what have you told me? Sorry, said Billy. Where are you two going, they said. We'll explain later, said Billy. We have work to do. And so Dennis and Billy puffed away. That was a close shave, said Splatter and Dodge. And it was. Come on, before they capture us. And they rolled, and they puffed away. They steamed faster and faster. Duncan was about to get out when they said this. Move out of the way! Oi, said Duncan. I'm not that interested at all. At all, he said. Just then. I'm not that interested at all, he said. Just then, Billy and Dennis saw them, and they decided to chase after them. Let's get them, said Dennis and Billy, and so they were ready to chase after them. We know where you are. Come on, said Dodge and Splatter, before it's too late, and they both ran away. Come on, but Dodge saw something except Splatter. Dodge, we can't go this way. This is the wreckage where we did something to Stepney this morning, he said. Who knows? Just go. Uh-oh. Who knows, said Splatter. Let's go before it's too late. While Duncan was under here, and while Dennis and Billy were catching up to them. Go, said Splatter. And so Dodge did. He went down. Whoa, he said, and crashed into the wreckage. And the wreckage was everywhere. Splatter knew Dodge was telling the truth. Are you all right? He said. Just then, Dennis and Billy knew it was a good idea. Let's push him, they said. And so Dennis bumped into Splatter. Splatter rolled down and crashed into his twin brother, Dodge. Ow, said Dodge. What did you do that for? Sorry, said Splatter. And poor Splatter and Dodge were captured now. Just then, Oliver came to see them. He was saying this to them. Well, what do we have here? 2 diesels. The wreckage was cleaned up, and Oliver had to go to the wreckage was cleaned up, and Stepney had to go to the works to be mended. And Dodge and Splatter were back on the rails. And so Dennis and Oliver took him away to speak to the Fat Controller. At last they were brought back for the Fat Controller to speak to them. I'm disappointed in you two, he said. No, I'm not impressed at all. And he wasn't. Even Splatter and Dodge, for what they did today. They know the Fat Controller was not impressed. So wasn't Dennis, Boko, Mavis, Stepney, Billy, and Oliver, who really captured them. They know Splatter and Dodge has caused enough trouble on the island of Sodor at all.